Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
Oh my gosh. Hi. Hello.
I'm a little bit of a stickler. A stickler. A stickler. There's that word. Pickle.
You're a strict stickler.
Strict stickler.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, did I just step in his piss? That's what I'm thinking, right? Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
No. We're back.
Yeah. Yep. That one. Good thing you can slice. Good thing you can slice. Oh my gosh.
Music is by Dust Bowl Champion. To hear Dust Bowl Champion's newest hits, search Dust Bowl Champion on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
Hey.
Welcome in with our very special guest. We have Kylah Bridge here.
Woohoo.
Very excited. So a little bit about Kylah. She is, of course, best thing. She is my youngest daughter. So we are super excited to have her on here. There are some things that Kylah has going in her life that we've never experienced. And so we wanted to have her on. Kylah is 24, almost 25 years old. She lives very far from us now, unfortunately. So she's actually in a different time zone. We realized this morning that we've only ever recorded with people in our time zone. So she's out of Scottsdale. She's been there. Is it a year and a half now? Year and a half now. Yeah. So Kylah is in nursing school. So very excited about that. So she is on her way to become our own family nurse. Thank goodness. We've been sick a lot lately, so that will be very helpful. And she loves bartending. She loves going out. She loves to have fun. She's a good time. And she loves bodybuilding. She found a love for bodybuilding, and that is one of the things that we wanted to talk to her about. So thanks for joining us, Kylah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, Kylah, we're super excited because I feel like you're a pretty open book when it comes to things. And we're going to talk about some worlds that we are just so not into, as far as like, we've never experienced something like that. Yes, I am. I love working out, but bodybuilding is next level. And so I have so many questions for you on your journey of bodybuilding. But before we even get into the nitty gritty of it, can you tell me first of all, you come from the Central Coast. And so what made you want to move to Scottsdale? And what made you get into bodybuilding to start?
Well, I guess those kind of go hand in hand because I grew up a cheerleader, basically like my entire youth up until my senior year of high school. And then I snapped my ankle, which kind of put a little damper on that. I was just talking to Ashley about this last night. But I had to have surgery on it. I tore my tendons and ligaments and fractured the bone. Had surgery on it, I want to say like a year later, and it still never healed correctly. Like to this day, it still gives me issues. But getting into bodybuilding, that's kind of my backstory. After the surgery, I kind of went into like a very, very depressive episode, going from being as active as I was to literally sitting on my ass. Can I say that on here?
Yeah. Say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Sitting on my ass I couldn't walk for 3 months. I couldn't put weight on my foot at all. So with that, you put on a couple LBs.
And this is your senior year, you said?
My surgery, yes.
Okay.
It was January of my senior year. So that I was also out of school I did like homeschooling or whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
For a couple, I want to say like a month and a half because I was on pain meds for so long. But having like healed, we'll say, from that surgery, I couldn't jump or tumble or anything that I was doing, which is like kind of all I knew. So I
Yeah.
just started going to the gym, and I never like didn't I never hated the gym, but I didn't ever really know how to train other than cheer.
Mm-hmm.
So I hired a trainer, and really the rest the rest is history. I fell in love with it, and one of my girlfriends that I made at the gym asked me. This was like a year after the fact, like I was um, in college at this point. But she was like, "What are you training for? Like you're a badass. Like you could totally kill it in bodybuilding." And that's she gave me her coach's info, and I kind of did my own research and went from there and hired a coach and trained for it and got on stage, and I love it.
Okay. So it kind of started your well, probably right after high school then. Really it kind of started like your fitness journey of just like going into the gym, getting your workouts, figuring out how to work out, and then well into that, into college. That's kind of when you started thinking about getting into the bodybuilding part of it.
Yes. And then as far as moving to Scottsdale, I don't have a cool story really. I wanted to move out here, wanted, um, before COVID in 2019, and then I was not financially able to at all. It was just kind of a thought because I had some friends out here that I had visited. But then COVID happened, put a little stuck a pin in it and was like, this, I'm doing this one day. And then come May of, no, early 2023, I literally texted my dad and was like, let's, let's fucking go. Like, I'm doing this. And he bought us tickets out here, and we came out here and signed a lease. And yeah. But I will say being in a bigger city definitely helps in the bodybuilding aspect of things.
Sure.
Just because slow where I was like one of like
Yeah.
three people that actually did it. Not to say that no one like works out there or anything, but like actual bodybuilding and like competing, like not a lot of people. It's nice to have people that get it around
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So, and I find this interesting because I've always thought like that would be one thing that I probably would want to do is train for it, not necessarily do it. I don't know that I have the cojones to do it, but so I admire you for doing it. But the finding your coach, all of that kind of stuff. Like I know your friend recommended someone, but it's a little intimidating. I feel like when I have kind of looked at it, like there are coaches everywhere, but how do
Yeah.
you know who's good, and how do you start that? And for someone who wasn't really in a town that had a lot of that, how do you know how to search?
Um, I will say my first coach, I didn't really know what I wanted. I mean, I did my own research and everything, but just like starting out, I definitely was like, okay, I want to be on a team, not just like one athlete of one coach, which it now I know isn't the worst thing ever, but like I've met a lot of my closest like bodybuilding friends through my first coach, and I'm still like very close with her. She helped me a lot. Like she taught me everything from the jump. Um, but as far it's you really just interview them. Like you say it is intimidating, but like it's really your decision.
Yeah.
It's not they're not picking you.
Because some could be in the same, like you could look for some that are in the same town as you. And I mean, you and I
Yeah.
both now live in bigger cities to where that's very likely, right? Like if I
Hmm.
wanted to find someone here, it would be very likely that I could find someone great here.
Yeah.
But there are coaches that coach from like different states and everything too, right? So how does that kind
Yeah.
of work?
Her first
Um,
coach was
all my coaches that I've had have only been online. I think for you specifically, you could do that too. it just comes down to work ethic and putting in the effort. Like and that's not to say that someone who needs someone in person isn't going to do extremely well either. But yeah, I mean, I started, he wasn't like my coach, but like my first ever personal trainer. Like I needed that to start to like show me the ropes. But like
Yeah.
once I've been doing it for so long now that I know what I'm doing, like I can handle what it is. But all my coaches have been online and they send me a plan and I execute it. And yeah.
And your plan is workout and nutrition?
My coach is workout, nutrition, supplements.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, we'll go into the nutrition part of it. What does your day normally look like? And I'm assuming it's very different if you're in a competition versus just training, kind of talk about that, or even as you get closer to your competition.
Truly, like it really shouldn't be different. I always say like you live the lifestyle. Like if you could live the lifestyle, you can compete. Which is why a lot of people don't succeed in that aspect. Off season, which is like what I'm at right now, not training. Well, the goal is always the same, I guess. Not prepping for a show. You're basically, as far as nutrition, a little more leniency. I'm on a meal plan, so I eat the same things basically, just more of them. Versus if I was getting ready for a show, obviously you're cutting calories, so you're eating less. But in an improvement season, off season, more leniency, free meals, like not so much pressure to withhold basically just your plan, if that makes sense.
Okay. And you're competing for more, because there's different types of bodybuilding and competitions, right? So there's like the bikini. Well, I actually really don't know. I know there's different ones, but I don't know what they all are.
Yeah, there's a ton of different divisions. They actually just introduced a new one this last year. But yeah, I'm wellness, which is all legs.
All legs. Okay. And so what would be some of the others that that people would compete for?
In order, for women, it's Fit Model, which is the new one, which is, I don't even want to talk about that one. Fit Model, bikini. I started in bikini actually, but then my coach decided that it would be best that we move to wellness just because my genetics, my legs, like work with your genetics, not against them. Wellness, figure, which is upper body, women's physique, women's bodybuilding. I think I want to say that's it.
And
that's my grand cat, by the way.
And so, your grand cat really wants to be on the podcast.
I know. I just had to push him off the desk.
He's all, hi, pretty. And so you are, you're on this regimen. You basically, like you said, you eat more. And then what about supplements? What supplements are normal? What do you take? What do you tell people to stay away from? What have you learned on that?
Supplements, as far as, you want to talk about supplements or you want to talk about enhancements?
Both.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Well, supplements, I would consider like protein powder, creatine, just basically anything anyone can get their hands on.
Okay.
I have nothing bad to say about those. Some people are sensitive to some of the protein powders, so I guess it is just like trial and error. I can't do 100% whey. It just messes with my stomach. But as far as enhancements, I use them. It's not a secret. I also like don't just like announce it. But like if you were to ask me, sure, I'm not gonna lie about it. But you want to know like what I have taken or like what they do?
I guess kind of both. So like, what have you taken? Is there anything you've taken that you've been like, I'm not doing that again, or I would not recommend someone to do? Are you happy with everything that you've taken?
I have taken, I started, I guess, I haven't always taken them. I will definitely say don't initially just like throw it in the plan because that's the dumbest thing you can do. I also personally, I think that if you aren't competing, sorry, there's a truck coming, window open. If you are not competing as a woman, and this is just my opinion, there is no need to take them. Now, if you're a man, I'm just not even going to speak on that because guys are going to do what they want to do. But my first competition, I was completely natural. And then going into my second one, when I started with Trey, my coach to this day, one of the reasons why I hired him was because of his knowledge on gear enhancements.
What's
and
gear mean?
Steroids, like enhancements. Oh. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of the big reasons why I hired him because what you read online isn't always, it's Google. So he educated me a lot on that, and there was never any pressure. Like basically the ball was always in my court, but he helped me a lot with that. So I want to say 2022, I use Anavar, and this is going to sound like a lot, but also like I've taken like this much of each, like Anavar, Primobolan, and clenbuterol, my first cycle going into my first show. And Anavar and Primobolan, they're just like lean mass builders. So they're keeping you cut, but also maintaining your muscle mass as you cut down. Because like it's a given, you stop eating as much as you are, you're gonna lose some of it. So that's like a preventative, I guess. And then going into my last show, we did Anavar, Primo, HGH, which is human growth hormone. And then towards the very end, a tiny bit of Mastron with clenbuterol, which they basically all do the same thing. Human growth keeps your skin tight and is a growth hormone.
So these steroids are legal to take?
Well, no.
No, they're not.
Well, no. I want to say Anavar is the easiest one you can get just because it is an oral. But I mean, in the bodybuilding community, like I could probably, if I wanted to, get my hands on anything. But would I take anything?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I guess how do you make sure you're taking something that's safe?
So I get all my stuff through my coach.
Okay.
So I trust that. But if there ever was any doubt, you can get like test kits off of Amazon and it'll basically tell you like if it's real or not.
So what in your situation, what makes you decide, okay, I think this is why and when I need that versus like not yet maybe. I know you said like competing, obviously, if you're not competing, you don't think women need to. But
Right.
if you are competing, is there a time when you're like, I don't think I need it, or do you think anytime it's competing, you will always need to?
I wouldn't say always. I think this is the part where having a coach is very important because sometimes I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But like he knows my body, like I've been working with him for 4 years now. And this is like what he does for a living. So yeah.
Do you feel like you need them?
A couple years ago, I would say no. Now, well, I guess like ever or like going
Well,
forward.
yeah, no, I mean, I guess like, do you feel like you couldn't compete and couldn't get to where you are today without taking them?
I think in the NPC, no. There are natural federations, which obviously you can't take enhancements for that. You get drug tested, but the NPC, like the way I see it is I could have gone the other way, but personally, I'm going to sound like a douchebag, but I think natural bodybuilding is not very impressive to watch. Sue me.
But everybody gets their opinion here.
Yeah, as far as like NPC, I wanted to like level the playing field. Like not to say that you bigger. Need it. Like and that's not to say that if you were to go compete in the NPC that you could not do well naturally. That's not me saying that. That's me, like my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Do you know of any that compete like either alongside you or like any of your friends that are all natural that do okay?
I know there's a couple pros actually in wellness that are natural, but they are more on the petite side.
Okay.
Like they got their pro card, which is very impressive, don't get me wrong, but they're not at the Olympia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Olympia is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, if you didn't know.
It's all the muscles.
Yes.
So, okay. So do you take these enhancements even when you're not in competition, or only when you're in a competition, like when you're training?
Yeah. So there's each compound, like each individual enhancement has a time and a place. I have used a couple during my improvement seasons before, but you got to give your body a break. Like it's not like a 365 all the time type deal. I haven't been on anything since August now, so that's a couple. I don't think I will get on anything until I decide to compete again, honestly. And that
was your last show, right? August was your last show.
Yeah. So
you're taking a break right now. Do you still want to compete?
I do. I think so. I will say my mindset right now, it has shifted a little just to focus on school.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I'm not going to the gym every day still. Like I'm still putting in the work.
Yeah.
The goal is always the same, but I told myself, like my last prep, I started the same day that I started nursing school. So I didn't know any different. And then having finished my show and like the weeks after, like I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like there's no pressure to get up at 5 a.m. every day and like go do my 2 hours of cardio and then come back and go lift, and everything was just like so structured, and I thrive on that, but also it's nice to just like be able to chill for a few.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt you have the biggest thighs I've ever seen on a lady. They're muscular.
I'm blushing.
They're muscular, they're toned, and guys, you better be careful because she will crush you. She could crush people. I feel like in your journey of this, you've transformed so much internally. We'll take the outside away, because yes, you have a great body, but I feel like you have really come out of your shell so much. And yes, part of it is growing up, but I feel like you grew this confidence in you that like just came out. And I love it. And I always look forward to hearing what you're doing, because I know like you make your own waves and you ride them, and you're all about it. And I think it's really great. I do get concerned about the enhancements. I think that is concerning. I'm concerned for anyone who takes them, especially young people, because I don't know. I don't know enough about it, I guess. But my concern is like your longevity and what it does to your body, I guess, in like 20 years, not necessarily now. And so what have you kind of learned with those? I'm sure you did your research on that too, and what those effects could look like.
No, I definitely have, and that was a big thing as to why I not so much waited, but was not even like hesitant, but asked all the questions. That is why it's very important to get blood work done, which is something that I have always been on top of when it comes to that. Like, I take my health very seriously because this is something that I want to do for a long time. Um, but yeah, blood work, hormone panels, all the things.
So is
Yeah.
that something that your coach looks at with you or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So
And
I'll get the blood work done. He'll tell me like what panels I need to get. I'll go get them. I'll send it to him. He'll read them and kind of like break it down for me. And then we go from there. Like if everything looks good, and usually when you come off stuff, it doesn't look super great, which is why you cycle it. You don't stay on it consistently. And you're only doing it for like 6 to 8 weeks, right? It's not this long thing that you're doing, but also a little goes a long way. Like I said,
These are injections, or are they like, you said
there's
some of them are
oral
oral?
and injections. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
so when you say it doesn't look great, what do you mean? I don't
Like
know.
your
I didn't
hormones
even
are
know
just
you
all
did
messed
that.
up.
So I'm glad that you at least are looking at that stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hormones are
Hormone panels and
funky.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea, I guess, in an enhancement like that is to where you're trying to build testosterone and lower your hormones, or I guess what is it that it's actually doing to your body?
It's suppressing your, I want to say estrogen,
Your
which
estrogen,
is why
that's
your
right.
levels are so low when you come off of things. As far as testosterone, like I don't inject testosterone specifically, but they are like, what's the word? Like Primo is a not even like a type of testosterone, but it
It
helps.
has
Like
it.
in the same family, maybe
Yeah,
like
Okay.
a relative.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I mean, I know some people have said, that I've heard before, like men will take um, steroids for the testosterone portion of it. But do you feel like for females, for women taking it, does it do anything to your body to where you're a young girl, not to say you do want kids, because you could not want any kids, but does that ever change like your cycles, your egg count, your anything like that that's part of like, having a child later?
Yes, which is also a reason why I have taken very little. Um, I could have blasted if I wanted to, but as far as like physical changes, personally, the only thing I obviously leaner body, but the only like drastic thing that I noticed was my voice and my jawline.
Your
That
jawline, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just more chiseled when but women specifically that take more like, I mean, you can just look up women's bodybuilding, like
They look more like a man.
yeah, like
Yes.
respectfully, like they chose that life, that's what they want. Like I respect it, but that's not what I want, and I do want kids, like you said. That's one of the reasons why right now I am not to say I want kids right now, but I am fixing my hormones
Okay.
because that is something that I want in the
And
future.
does that does affect that, or that could affect?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does your coach know much about that kind of stuff? Like, is that conversation something you guys have talked about?
Briefly, um, I haven't gone like super in depth with him, just other than like the panels,
Oh,
because basically like as long as my panels look fine, like I'm okay. As far as egg count, I'm not super sure about that. I've never gotten my
had
eggs
your eggs
counted.
counted?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like I've never read on it to see if that is a side effect or whatever, but I would almost think if you're kind of messing with, you know, that could end up affecting even something as, you know, even egg count.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it. I'm sure.
Do you, I think we all noticed your voice is deeper. I think you always had, I mean, like a raspy kind of voice, but like it definitely got deeper, to where and then of course then your muscles are growing like crazy, so you're like, okay, you know. But like I said, the biggest thing to me is like thinking, what is the later effects of what you're taking, and that goes for, I mean, so many things. So now that your stepmom over here is on her RFJK Jr. diet, she's got to also, she's going to have to do some research into that too. She's trying to go super clean. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I have some more questions for you on your journey and what else this has kind of gotten into for you. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
Segment music by Callie Grace. For more of Callie Grace's hits, follow Callie Grace on iTunes and Spotify today. We are back. Okay. Kylah. Okay, so you moved to Arizona, you get well into bodybuilding. And now you've also, this has led to other, well, I don't know if it's led to other things. I don't know if you would have
that was pre-Scottsdale.
Yeah.
That was started in her slow days.
I'll explain. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm learning something new now. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about, because you're such an open book and I love it, is we've all heard of this like just this giant new popular online app. I don't even know how to say it, because I always call it fans only, but it's, I guess, OnlyFans. And you have, the only reason why I knew that you were doing OnlyFans is because, well, I follow you on social media. And so, so I want to know, why did you start OnlyFans? And I guess when, because I thought it came after your bodybuilding.
Can I tell you how I know about her having OnlyFans, since you know, because you follow her on social media? I'm not as cool. I know because my mother-in-law asked Jason what the thing meant on her profile. It says her like information for OnlyFans. My mother-in-law asked what that was. So,
and that's
how I found out. Yeah.
I will say it's never been a secret.
It's never what?
It's never been a secret.
Yeah. No.
I started it. I want to say I made the account February of 23 because I was having a breast augmentation in April.
Oh, so it started with new boobies.
Well, the reason that I started it was because I was going to be out of work and I had to make ends meet. But yeah, I started it February or March. I don't exactly know. Like a month or two before I had the surgery. And the first month was really good. I made like $5,000 the first month. And that's not even posting anything really crazy. Like, if you see my Instagram profile, it really wasn't anything more than that. The subscription was free. Like, I made all the money in the DMs just talking to people. Like,
oh my gosh. Okay. So many questions. Okay. Hold on. So at this point, you don't have your new boobs. So
correct.
you're still itty bitty titty committee like me, like
Mm-hmm.
how I was. And you decide, I mean, how old are you when you started this? This is 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
So
So
you're
it was
like
right. It was,
22.
yeah, right before I
Okay.
turned 22.
Okay. And what are people, you said you started for free. People, you made all your money in DMs. People pay for your aunt, like for them to send you a message?
Yeah, so the way that I did it was because I was such a new creator. Subscription's free, so you can basically like see my page, but to DM me, you had to pay me. So you
Okay.
couldn't even send me a message without sending me a tip for,
Okay.
Oh.
And then,
yeah.
and
Do you
then,
get to set the money that they send you, or was
Yeah,
it like
I
they
set the,
offered?
I got to set the minimum, but then
Okay.
they would send more to talk more, if that makes sense.
okay, yes. And you were never creeped out about it.
I wouldn't say I was never creeped out. I will say I didn't post it on my socials for a while because I felt not like embarrassed, but like, oh, no, my dad's gonna see that,
Oh, that was one of my questions. What
you
did,
know?
yeah, okay.
But just like I wasn't ready for people to know that side of me, I guess. And it really wasn't even like, it's not that crazy of a side. Like, it really, like it's the name's Kylah. Like, but I waited a little bit to post it on my account. And then when I did post it on my account, that's when I started making like the money. But I will say, I wasn't really like creeped out because like I knew what I was getting myself into. But a lot of people on there, it's anonymous. Like they don't use their real names, which respectfully so. But the people that did use their real names and like I knew them, I was like, okay, this is,
Okay. See, that
Okay.
was something I wanted to know. Were
yeah,
there any paying customers that you knew,
yes.
and was that weird?
One of my ex-boyfriends actually.
Stop.
Yeah, yeah.
What
is
did he
weird.
like? Was he just like, oh, this is just whatever?
I don't even remember what he said, but his name is, it was literally his first and last name. I was like, what the fuck?
That's so crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
So, really quick, Ashley, when you and Jason and Kylah's grandma found out that she was doing OnlyFans, what did you guys say, do? Did you call her? Did you do anything as parents? Did you flip out?
Well, fun part about having adult children is, I mean, you can flip out, but you're just not gonna really get much from that, right? Like she lives at her own place, she pays her own bills. She's not in need of us for anything. Like there wasn't anything where it was like, she can't get in trouble, right? Like can't ground her. I think like, oh gosh, like, oh my gosh, what is she like, I obviously have never seen what's posted or anything like that because I'm just like, I don't need
You don't have a
to.
subscription to
I don't have a
OnlyFans?
subscription. Well,
Let's start
and
with that one first. Do you have a subscription and you just didn't go on her page?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm anonymous. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Are you my ex-boyfriend on there?
I'm like, oh, your ex-boyfriend. Yeah, no, I'm talking about that. No, I'm just kidding. No, because I mean, I've gotten to see all of her goodies before, and I don't know what kind of positions she might place her goodies in for a photo op or something like that, and I don't want to see that because that's
your
totally different side. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, definitely I don't hold a subscription. it was like, oh, what the heck? I think one of the bigger ones was like, is Jason going to have a heart attack?
Yeah.
I just, like, we're a pretty open family. And like, yeah, there's not really a lot of secrets or anything like that. We're also very, or we're not very modest, I guess, but it is definitely different when you're talking about your baby. And, like even on her Instagram, sometimes she'll post a picture and Jason's like, oh gosh, like I'm on Instagram and I see this. Like, what the heck? Could you tell, like, he'll tell Hayden, can you tell your sister not to? He's like, I'm not telling her anything. I'm not going to tell her.
But guess what? He's going to like it anyways because my dad is my biggest supporter.
He will still make sure she has that, what is it called? The activity that you get or whatever in social media.
Oh, like the algorithm?
Yeah, we'll still like all of her stuff. I don't have to scroll as quick because I've seen all of her. So, but yeah, if there's a little stuff showing or whatever, Jason's like, oh gosh, like.
Okay, so Kylah, did your dad call you about it, or has he ever had a talk with you about it?
I don't think so.
No.
It's definitely like come up in conversation, but like only because my dumbass brothers say something. But it's never been like a set conversation that we had.
Yeah. What about your mom?
No, same thing.
No?
She like jokes with me about it, like still.
Yeah. Very weird as a parent. Very, very weird place to be as a parent. I like holding over the fact that my children have to do what I say in order for them to live right now. So that's great. It's a great way to live.
You lose a lot of control.
I know.
When they no longer need your support.
I know. Okay, so now you're in it 2 years later. I want to know, in all reality, like you talk to these guys. Is it still free, or do you have like a paid subscription now to your page?
Truthfully, I really don't use it anymore. Like I still have it, but I don't use it.
Oh, okay.
Why is that?
You can do really well on it when you have time to fuck around on it, but it's so time consuming that it's literally like a full-time job that when I have a million other things that I'm doing and like I'm making ends meet elsewhere, like it's definitely like a cool last resort, I guess, but I don't need it.
Did you have to show a lot? Well, you said you really didn't show. Did you end up ever really showing a lot on there?
No, I would do like not like full nude anything, but like little tease here and there. Like I paid 10 grand for my boobs. Like you're gonna see them. Like I didn't.
Well, I paid for my boobs. I paid for my boobs, but nobody's gonna see them. They're for me.
You're married and you have kids, and I'm 24 years old.
Okay, so do you ever feel like, have any of these things, these subjects that we've talked about, whether it's enhancements, bodybuilding, which I feel like if a guy is going to date you, they're kind of know off the bat by just looking at your body, like that's kind of like your thing, like you're into fitness. Yeah. But any of the enhancements or the OnlyFans, have those topics ever come up in dates or relationships? And does that ever affect your relationships?
Yes. My ex here, I would say it's more of like an insecurity thing on their end, like nothing obviously. I stopped using OnlyFans really because no guy wants their wife to, like it's as like I've gotten older and like have actually like seen what goes on in there. That's one of the main reasons why I don't use it anymore. I'm not a sex worker. by the way. Like, I never posted anything like that. But
would you ever consider being a sex worker?
no.
Okay. Good to
You're
know.
all for
Just since you brought up sex working.
No, but like a lot of people see OnlyFans as like that's what that is, and that's not what I did. But you hear the name or you see it when it was in my bio. Oh, that's a red flag, which all right, I don't blame you, I guess. Like, it is what it is, but also like, you're not paying my bills. You're not, I don't know. But as far as enhancements and everything, like my ex here, was very insecure on that end. And he wasn't like a small guy. He was like 6'2" baseball player. Like, he was big, but like dating a muscular woman is not for everyone.
Yeah.
That I have been I have to be like so selective, because you're not going to make me feel bad about doing what I love when you can do what you love, and because you're a guy, it's okay for you.
Is there a lot of that? Like, even within, I guess, even within the bodybuilding community, where men that are bodybuilders are insecure, or that's more just because he was a normal person?
I've never a normal person.
I just mean like a non-bodybuilder.
I know. I've never experienced anything along the lines of that within like bodybuilding community. I was telling you, Matt, like the guy that I dated, and he was like a huge bodybuilder. Like, it was never an issue. I think it's just
some guys
a touchy subject for some guys.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Are you in a relationship right now with anyone?
No. I'm not.
I'm
dating though, but
okay, that's great.
I've never met, well, that's a lie, because you guys have met one of them, but I will not introduce anyone to my family unless I know that it's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, we've met one, and it's him and Jason actually will still message. Jason's still,
he's
like,
great. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
I have nothing bad to say about him, but we just didn't work out.
Yeah. But Kylah's famous for my friend. So like, we don't always know if she's dating someone because it's just her friend. Like, oh, I'm going to see my friend, and she won't necessarily say like who they are. Sometimes you're like, oh, you stayed over at your friend's. I'm assuming it's a guy. I could be wrong. I don't know. But yes. Oh, my friend. Yeah. She's not very
my best friend.
Yeah. She's not she doesn't share much about that part. I think it's just she's like, her and I were talking last night, and you know, we were talking about like her future and kids and that kind of thing, and she's like, you know, that she's never like found someone that she's like, yes, this is like the one kind, you know, that kind of thing. And I think she's not super open to sharing like that part of her life if they're not going to be someone that's like that.
It's never that I like don't want to. Like, I love, but I hate having the awkward conversations like, oh, what happened to so and so? Oh, well, he was a douchebag. That's what happened.
Well, I think that you're smart in a sense of like, you just don't want, if you're just having fun, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but why talk about it? Because it's not anything that's of substance, and you know that inside. I think it's great because I think you're young, and I think as long as you're dating, then that's healthy. And it's good to go out and let someone take you out and have a great dinner, or go out and dance, or go out and have a drink. But you know, you've got your eye on the prize right now, and you're kind of settling down in your, like, you're in school a lot, you know, you're working a lot, you know, you're doing all that kind of stuff. If you were like, let's say if your younger brothers were girls, or if one day you have girls, would you, and they said to you, I want to get into bodybuilding. I think I'm fine with taking enhancements, and I'm going to probably have an OnlyFans page. So if they went down those roads, what do you think your advice to them would be?
Do your research. Um, the internet is forever. So whatever you put out there, just know that it's probably not ever going to go away. Um, but yeah,
Those are good.
I really
Is that
haven't.
something that played a factor in what you would actually put on your OnlyFans?
What, that it's forever?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, I never went into it wanting, I mean, like I said, I don't post anything really like that provocative on there, but I guess I I don't really know. It's not, I never made it with the intention of, okay, one day I'm gonna grow into, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm never
You
gonna
didn't
post
think
like sex stuff on there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there's some crazy things that are posted on there. Like I think it keeps going with it. But I think that's really good advice. Like what you put out there does it will live forever. That's 100% accurate. I love that. Gosh, there was something else I was just going to say and I lost my.
Okay, well, you try to think of it because with anything that's on there in the future, you would be comfortable with like your kids seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I know what I wanted to
easy
ask.
enough to rest your head then.
Can you do asking for a friend here? Can you do OnlyFans without showing your face, or do you have to
Yeah.
show your face?
No, you can do literally anything you want on there.
Okay, Priscilla, what are you starting
I
this
know.
evening? No, I'm just
Like
kidding.
Asking for
people
a
post
friend.
like it's known for like as like a porn site, let's call it that. But like people post like personal training videos, like there's cooking shit on there. Like it's
Really?
literally
Huh.
a subscription to whatever you want.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I thought it was just like naughty photos or like
I mean, there's
naughty
definitely a
videos.
lot of that, but that's not all it is.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, I do need some cooking advice, so am I gonna have to pay for it though? Because I only like free stuff.
Probably. Yeah. You're probably better off on just like YouTube or something.
Yeah. Probably safer too. Someone's
Yeah.
cooking naked, tossing a salad.
Oh, uh-oh. What kind of tossing are you talking?
Whatever you're into.
Well, Ashley, how's your heart? You feeling okay? You doing okay over there?
Yes, my heart is a lot better than I thought. I was
Yeah.
a little nervous when Priscilla was like, "Hey, do you think Kylah would come on and talk about bodybuilding and fans only?" And I was like, I'm sure she would. She's pretty open, so let me see." And then she's like, "I've got so many questions." So I'm just thinking, "Oh my gosh, what are Priscilla's questions going to be? Are they going to be things that like now I'm going to have
I know.
visualized some stuff that Kylah posted?" I do have a question. Were you nervous once you did add it to your thing that mom or dad would say something to you?
No, I want to say that I don't really remember, obviously, like not a big deal to me, but I think I told mom before and she was just like, okay, like like you hype something up in your head so much about like how someone's going to react and they're just like,
Yeah.
okay. Like that's kind of how it went down with her.
Yep, your mom's not Mexican. I can tell you that, right? I could tell by that response right there. She ain't Mexican. You would have had a
but
pot
I
going
don't
across the room.
I don't remember how if I told dad. I want to say Hayden had like said something jokingly and then it was just like came up and he was like probably in his head was like what the fuck, but was like okay.
Yeah, I know when your grandma asked about it, he was like, so so my mom asked what this is. I'm like, oh gosh. Oh, well, what'd you tell her?
Well, I mean, and I think you guys are very, like you said earlier, Ashley, you're very open. And I love when you say your dad is your biggest fan, because he really is. And it's a, it's a weird dynamic on an outsider's perspective, because it's not like, you think like I really am like, oh my gosh, like I would start hyperventilating. I don't know if I could handle it if one of the girls came home and was doing this, I'd probably try to fucking kill her. But, but at the same time, you guys are logical in the sense of like, you can't control your 20 something year old who's doing and taking care of herself. You guys don't support her. It's not like she's looking for a handout. She's not looking to you to like pay her rent and buy her a car. So she's taking care of herself, and you're not always going to agree with all of the decisions that they make, but you just have to support them and say, I love you, and don't be too stupid, and I'll be here if you are too stupid. And for the good and the bad of everything that you go through, we're here. And that is such a crazy hard pill, especially to take as someone who, I mean, we're almost there. We're not there yet though, right? Like Tristan is still in college. She still needs our money to live and eat and put gas in her car. She's not supporting herself yet. So we're not there of having an adult kid yet. So we can't even we can't comprehend that situation. But it's a hard dynamic, but it's true. It's like, this is true. This is real life,
Yeah.
of whatever your kids do. I mean, you've got, a daughter who is also like, you're going to be a grandma, and so it's like, you've got all these adult kids, or not all these, but you have 2 adult kids that are like making these decisions for themselves, and they're making their ways. And, like it or not, you just have to be supportive and be like, okay, we love you,
Yeah.
and we'll do what we need to do to help you, and support you along the way. And I think because I grew up so different, it's so hard. But it's also very hard to say what I would or wouldn't do in that situation. You could say, oh, hell no, I wouldn't have that. If that was my daughter, I'd say
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. But then you're not in it. So you don't know. You don't know
Yeah.
until you're in it, So I give you guys props, and the whole family, because I feel like you guys have figured out a way to love and support each other, and in your kids and in your parents, to where it just works for you guys.
Yeah, maybe I bury my head a little. Like, okay, I know Kyla has an OnlyFans. I'm not really gonna ask her about it because I don't need to envision anything. Maybe it would have eased like my mind and worries about it had I asked her, because she just told us that, there really wasn't much more happening aside from
Right.
what was on her Instagram, which I see. So probably could have saved myself a few gray hairs. I don't know. But yeah, in reality, if we were to explode and go crazy, it's not going to do anything for us. It would probably just make Kyla want to pull away and not
be open with you about things.
Yeah. And I do have to say that is one thing that I it's not like we've always been like, well, we have to be friends because we want our kids to share everything with us, but we do have to be understanding and at least compassionate to certain things, because we do still want our kids to be comfortable enough to talk to us about something, especially like, what if something did happen and what if there was some guy who like went and said these really disgusting, awful things started showing his wiener to her or something. I don't know, like, and she would probably just laugh.
They do.
But she would probably just start laughing. But if she felt really offended and upset about it, I would still want her to come and talk to us. Like, I wouldn't want her to feel all disgusted by herself. But instead, she probably just showed her friends, like, look at this guy's little wiener or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, we definitely, I don't know. I feel like as the kids get older, it is harder because there's only so much you can say or do. Most of it is really just them figuring things out on their own end. Like Kylah, when you said earlier, honestly, like, no man wants their wife to have an OnlyFans. Like, I know some people would probably say, well, if he doesn't want you for you and blah, 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 this, and that, people would say stupid stuff like that. But I respect that opinion a lot because I think that's a valid point. Most men do not want to share their wife with other people, like, and if your man does want to share you with other people, be concerned because he probably wants to share other people with you also. So that could be concerning. So I actually really was very happy to hear you say that because I think that's a mature and smart way of looking at it,
Agree.
So
Agree.
yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Kylah. Thank you so much for being open and honest with us and letting us ask you a bunch of questions. My last question before we leave, and then we're going to quickly get off. Have you ever seen a little pee-pee? Have they ever sent you a little pee-pee on there?
Yeah.
A little micro
pee-pee. Oh, yeah. I figured they were the freaks trying to pay money to talk to a girl.
That's why they're on that site.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks for swapping with us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.